always open up her Bible. And she'd sit me down and hold me close and
My name is Cohen Mikael Ben Levi of the Hebrew family of Guyana. The aim of these dissertations is to cause the true house of Israel, who have been without knowledge of themselves for countless generations, and who are now being awakened by the God of the universe, to better serve our Creator. It is our hope that by reacquainting this awakening black nation with their laws and former history, it will hasten our return to our true identity, thereby acknowledging our ancient ancestors. This in turn will allow us to know our Father's God and prepare us to stand together to meet the terrible day of the Creator that He is now readying for all mankind. May He cause all your minds and hearts to understand. Shabbat Shalom Lakim, praying that the Holy One of Israel has blessed each and every one of you. I pray that He will comfort all of those who are having and perhaps have had a loss of a loved one. May He also bless you and strengthen and help those that are having health challenges at this time. This is a time of great tragedy around the world, and we all know someone who has had some sort of trouble, whether it's from COVID-19, having had the virus itself. Some of us have lost loved ones, very close, mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers all over the world. If you don't have the trouble, you're blessed and be thankful. But as we all know, trouble finds us all sooner or later. And so we have to be thankful and pray and ask the Creator to strengthen and help all of those who are at this very time experiencing problems, and many of them. Seems like sometimes, if it's not one thing or another, that troubles can be compounded, one trouble on top of another. And sometimes we'll see it is how we've lived our lives and behaved. Some troubles are due to sin. However, in our story, we know that this is a test for Job. Even in our own lives, we are tested. Every trouble is not a trouble because you did something wrong. And we want to think and learn and increase our wisdom and knowledge and understanding of life. And of course, understanding that trouble is a part of life. Have you ever heard the saying, stop complaining about nothing? Sometimes it is something to complain about. How we complain matters. Venting, sometimes we call it. Even if a person goes to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, the first thing they do is tell them, tell me about your problem. So you complaining again, you get a chance to vent and let it out. And sometimes that helps. Even crying helps sometimes. So we have to just try and weigh all, don't come to conclusions. Try to come to a good understanding of a total perspective of life, not just a perspective or part or your view. Other views sometimes are very significant. That's why it's important to be humble and listen, you'll learn. Job is complaining about something. None of us would doubt that. When you know he lost 7 sons, 3 daughters, all of his servants, his cattle were cleaned, fires wiped out his home, and you know that's a lot. Especially nothing, the material stuff, I hope we can agree. The material things are not important as someone's life. So if your house burns down and everybody gets out safe, you should be thankful and grateful. I even think, and perhaps maybe you agree, that sometimes when you have trouble, it makes you think about how blessed you are. Even though I have this trouble, I have all the still blessings and good in my life. So if you can just find a reason to thank the Most High for the goodness you have, it'll help you come out of that sadness and sorrow that you might be experiencing. Job says concerning his complaint and troubles, when the almighty terror comes upon you and his dread falls upon you, he menaces of stay. That was one of our metaphors. One that is lofty and high, because that's what it means. You say, Her Eminency, the Pope, or addressing someone who has a high title, a king, a prime minister. They have those big words, extraordinaire. But Job is saying that when you go to the grave, none of that matters. Your title is done away with, and all them way people bound down to you and all of that doesn't mean a thing. And he's right. All them titles don't mean nothing. They can call you the greatest of all time, but when you're dead, that ends all that greatness. Somebody else will be born and they'll call them great. So none of us should get hung up on our achievements in life. Tragedy, Job is saying, a disaster in his personal life is the reason for his complaining. He feels that it's unjust, it's unfair. Even if God did it to him, he says, no, that's unfair, I didn't deserve it. I didn't do anything wrong, and he's right. We all know, but let's think about in life, when it's one of us, we don't always know. We're reading a story where it's been laid out, but in our lives, that's the question. We don't always know, and we wonder, why did this happen? His grief, his sadness, his mental pain, because, I think about it a lot. I think sometimes mental pain and heartache can be greater than physical pain. That's why people think there's nothing wrong with you. They look at you and say, oh, you're all right. But what about inside? There can be a lot of pain in a person's inner mind, inner heart, and feelings, emotions. And that's what Job is feeling, is heavy, real heavy upon him. And the bottom line, we all hearing it. You're going to hear it again today. He doesn't deserve it. That's how he feels about it. He knows the Most High has done this to him. So he wants a conversation. Let's talk about it. Because I can justify myself, Job is saying, even before the Most High. If he don't make me afraid, don't hit me or nothing like that, and don't have me have a bad dream, I'll talk with him. Do you feel that way? Think about it. He wants to know what he did. What did I do, he's saying. There's no sin in me. There's no reason and warrant for this happening to me, especially not now. I've been better than ever. I've been doing orphans after my children's feast. Even when I think something's wrong, I pray to you. I don't deserve this. Does complaining, venting help? Sometimes it does. How you do it is probably the question here, because as we go through this story, we're going to find out that definitely how you speak and think, it matters. I think it's, maybe you might agree, maybe you won't. Is humility important sometimes or all the time? What do you think? Seek humility in your spirit. That's what I believe you should do. How we speak during our affliction and our trouble or our sorrow can disrespect the Most High. Things we say out of our mouth can offend him. And that's why you have so many precepts that say, guard your mouth. Put a muzzle on it, a bridle, like the animals, so they can't eat the corn when they're working. Of course, this is not the same example, but the idea of having your mouth under control is the point that is being made. The first series of our discussions between Job and his three friends, Bildad, Sophar, and we all know that that was through chapters 3 to 14. And so we're now gonna today pick up our story in the second series, because as you read in Job, these are occasions where they probably went, came back the next day after sitting for 7 days and 7 nights. And so they're up in the conversation. You will even pick that up when you hear something that's said. I'll point it out to let you know they came back another day. Today we will study the second series of arguments between Job and his friends. Eliphaz speaks to Job in chapter 15. Job answers him in chapter 16 and 17. In chapter 18, Bildad presents his opposing and accusing argument. In chapter 9, Job answers him, tells him off about his words. Zophar jumps on Job when he's given the opportunity, because remember, Eliphaz always speaks first, Bildad always comes after, and of course, Zophar comes after. They have a protocol, probably it's age, chief man, I don't know, but you'll notice that they'll never lose that order. It's a protocol order that they have, and they're observing it. And so Zophar says his piece, and Job says in chapter 21, I got some words for you too. Every time you all got something, I'm not stupid, I'm not inferior to you all. And so now we're gonna pick up our story, because we don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to tell you what's happening after chapter 21 and 22, because that's another interesting talk for next week and perhaps the week after when we close out Job. So again, one of the things I want us to think about as we go into this portion today, and that is that if you think about it, all three of Job's friends are really giving praise and honor to the Most High. So you can't say, well, they don't have no wisdom. See, it's important to listen to every one of them, because they're telling Job some wise things. Maybe it's how they're saying it, and maybe it's the accusing of him that's the problem. But in actuality, they're speaking wisdom. And we're going to acknowledge that wisdom as we go through the book of Job. The attributes are only given to the Most High. And even in that song, let's think about it. It's called the same God, but in Hebrew, it means the same power, because we don't use the word God. I'm only using it for the audience that's out there. We call him El, Elohim, El Shaddai, Elyon, the Most High, Almighty. We have our words to make sure that we're never offending the Creator with our mouths by calling on some other deity. So in that song, she said, the same power that watched over Moses, the same power that gave Samson his strength, the same power that answered David's prayer, the same power that gave a shepherd boy and the power to bring a warrior like Goliath to his knees, the same power that opened up the Red Sea. And so we want to know, when we read in Job, it's the same power from Genesis to Malachi that's in this book. No other deity. Some of them that you know today weren't even in existence. The people didn't come into the earth to even give them a religion or a name or God, because men make gods in creation when it comes to religion. In this history of Israel, the African who's the true Israelite, he has to know that the God that he serves made him and everything. See, they have gods that they make. The Creator is the one that made everything. And that should be a clear distinction in everyone's mind on the planet. In addition to that, we all should realize that not one of these men does not give praise to the Most High. Every one of them is given wisdom about him. So let's go back into our story, understanding that we have inferences. Sometimes you got to have the ability to know one truth, and then you're able to make a conclusion based on some facts that you know that you've already heard. That's why this is about being a good reader also. And let me tell you something, if you really want to study, because some people, they are really studious out there, and I'm going to tell you how you do it. When you open up your Bible, get a whole lot of other books and put them around. You're going to need them. A dictionary to look up the words you don't know, a Bible dictionary to look up the other things. Maybe you might need a concordance to go and find another precept that shows you that this is the same thing that was said in Isaiah or here, there, and I could go on and on. Maybe you need a Hebrew version to check the Hebrew to see is it translated accurately into English, or I can go on and on. Then maybe you get to the point where you throw that modern Hebrew away and then start translating from the English, from the ancient Hebrew. We'll show you that another time. That's another lesson. See, we're going all the way back. See, redemption is different from emancipation. They freed you. But to be restored to your former knowledge, that's what we're doing on this program. We're redeeming your mind if you're an Israelite. Even though this is in service to all humanity, we're redeeming the mind of the people whose minds have been lost because they've been stripped of the knowledge of self. Now we begin our reading for this week in the book of Job, the 15th chapter, and Eliphaz, my power is pure is his name. He begins the conversation.
Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and said,
Should a wise man make answer with windy knowledge and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk or with speeches wherewith he can do no good? Yea, thou doest away with fear and appearest devotion before Yah. For thine iniquity teacheth thy mouth, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. Thine own mouth shall condemn thee, and not I.
Yes, he said.
Yea, thine own lips shall testify.
He said, Job, everything that's coming out your mouth is condemning you. Don't blame us. You blaming me for me speaking to you. He said, that's not it. He said, your own mouth. He said, that's because, Job, you're trying to make things worse by impairing and weakening the praise that should be going to the Most High. He said that you are a guy that you don't understand it. You are someone whose mouth is full with iniquity. And look at you. You're looking bad, Job. That's why you're looking bad, because your talk is a reflection of how you look. Because how you are on the inside, all that iniquity that you've committed, it got you looking bad, Job. You need to listen to some good advice. He says, your speech and your tongue, you think like you cunning, how you could twist words around. But we see through, we know you had to do something, brother. We know you are not as innocent as you proclaim it. Consider, if you are a victim of calamity, I'm saying to everyone, be humble. Be humble if you had trouble. There's no reason to get smart with the Most High, because you might end up getting in worse trouble. Should you justify yourself, or should you justify what has happened to you? You didn't deserve it. The Most High is wrong, and he's the wicked one for doing it to you. Think about it. Is Job right in how he's speaking? Are you right before Yahweh? Because that's the question. Job is innocent. We're listening, trying to learn about our lives. Are any of us pure and clean without sin? So that means that anything that happened to us, we all should know. It could be a reason why it happened. It doesn't necessarily have to be sin, but we can't say we're innocent.
Art thou the first man that was born?
Man, Job knows the answer. That's why he feels insulted. I know I'm not the first man that was born. What are you trying to make me feel? You're some type of comfortus. You're making me feel worse. Go ahead.
Or wast thou brought forth before the hills? Dost thou hearken in the counsel of Yah? And dost thou restrain wisdom to thyself?
You're the only one to have wisdom, Job.
What knowest thou that we know not? And what understandest thou which is not in us?
In other words, you should listen to other people.
With us are both the gray-headed and the very aged men, much older than thy father.
Now we can read between the lines and we can see just by that statement. These are not no young boys. These are elders. So some of them, they're saying, we're older than your father, brother. Son, you know how we say today, son? Well, that's how they're doing. If you can bring it out in modern jargon, that's what they're saying. Hey, you're not older than everybody here. Come see.
Are the consolations of Yah too small for thee? And the word that dealeth gently with thee? Why does thy heart carry thee away?
Now, you know there's some guile in that. They are not dealing gently with Job. That's the problem. They're talking kind of harsh to him, and that's part of the inner argument in this discussion.
And why do thine eyes wink, that thou turnest thy spirit against Yah, and lettest such words go out of thy mouth? What is man that he should be clean?
See, now we all should think about that. That's some listening. Should we also learn from that statement? Yes. Go ahead.
And he that is born of a woman, that he should be righteous.
That's right. We know once you're born of that woman, it don't take long to start sinning. I remember early in my life, I remember one time I was going to a candy store and picking, I couldn't even see the candy on the shelf. And I just had enough sense to stick my hand up there and take it. And that guy who was in the store, he came out, he saw me, he said, I'm gonna tell your mother. Every time I walk by that shop, I hope I try to get my mother to go around the corner anyway, because it's embarrassment when you get caught. And that's why when you learn young, that's what they're saying, Job, you know, you need to come clean. You know you did something sometime in your life. All of us need to think about that. Sometime with us, we forget what we did when we were young. Go ahead.
Behold, he putteth no trust in his holy ones.
Listen to this. This is powerful.
Yea, the heavens are not clean in his sight.
That's deep.
How much less one that is abominable and impure, man who drinketh iniquity like water.
Drink iniquity like water. I mean, that it can't be no clear. Say like we drink sin like it's Kool-Aid. If you drink that nasty stuff, milk, animals' milk, anything. He said you can take the orange juice. He said y'all drink sin like it's something nutritious.
I will tell thee, hear thou me, and that which I have seen I will declare.
I'm an older man. Listen to some wisdom of things I've experienced in life, young man.
Which wise men have told from their fathers and have not hid it, unto whom alone the land was given, and no stranger passed among them.
Few people was in earth. This is going back a long time. That's why I told you. This story lets you know that it's not something that you can put your hand on a time period. But if you understand this line, it had to be before Moses. Job could not do any offerings by himself. He had to go to the priest. They could not have their little private priest things that they would be doing, having holy oblations put before the Most High. No, we had order with the priesthood. So it couldn't happen no time. Even in the imagination of Moses writing, he's writing about a period that is not in the period after Moses and the priesthood. You can infer that from the story. Tamshi.
The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, even the number of years that are laid up for the oppressor. A sound of terrors is in his ears. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness.
Right.
And he is waited for the sword.
In other words, when you do evil and you're wicked, you have to keep looking over your shoulder all the time. Every time you hear something, you want to know something happened, did anybody die? Because you waiting, because you know something's supposed to come, revenge or retribution. And that's what he's saying, don't live like that. Because you're going to be worrying. And he's saying, Job, that's why sooner or later it catches up with the wicked. Caught up with you.
He wandereth abroad for bread. Where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand.
In other words, you always see trouble. It's never a bright day or sunshine day because you're evil and you're always knowing that sooner or later it's going to catch up with you.
Distress and anguish overwhelm him. They prevail against him as a king ready to battle.
That's right. You always know trouble's coming. You're going to be fighting again. Here it comes. Don't get no rest because here comes another battle in life.
Because he had stretched out his hand against Yah.
And that's why he said, Job, ain't no way all this stuff could have happened to you and you didn't do anything. Come see.
And behaveth himself proudly against the Almighty.
And that's what you're doing right now. Instead of being humble, you're talking like you are so righteous and you're proud about your behavior. We see through you, brother.
You runneth upon him with a stiff neck, with the thick bosses of his bucklers.
Right.
Because he hath covered his face.
See,
with
that's
his
another
fatness.
term that you have to know. The bosses of the buckler. See, the buckler has like a clasp that puts, like if you think a belt even, you got to put it through there and that little piece around there. That's like, he said, that's what protects you. If it was a warrior, that's what he holds there. In other words, guard off. It's like your protection. So that's what he's saying. Job, when you're wicked, you move your protection from around you. And that's why this couldn't have happened if God was guarding you. And he only guard the righteous like that. I'm sure.
He made collops of fat on his loins, and he had dwelt in desolate cities, in houses which no man would inhabit.
You know, that collops is like, your skin is so wrinkled up that it's folded over. So he's saying like, Job, you know, that's why your skin is all folded up, because you ain't got smooth skin, because you're so evil that God done wrinkled you up and broke your body down. You got spots on your face, brother, and it cannot happen because you're so righteous and innocent. Don't you?
Which were ready to become heaps. He shall not be rich.
Yeah, he's going to
neither
heap
shall his
troubles up
substance
on you.
continue.
Yeah, that's what he did to you. Wicked people have trouble heaped up on them, and that's why your troubles testify against you, brother.
Neither shall their produce bend to the earth. He shall not depart out of darkness.
That's the whole idea. Wicked people, they don't get out of the trouble. It keeps coming sooner or later, and it stays on you.
The flame shall dry up his branches.
I mean, it's just eventually it's gonna absorb you, consume you.
And by the breath of his mouth shall he go away.
In other words, you're gonna lose your life.
Let him not trust in vanity, deceiving himself, for the vanity shall be his recompense.
In other words, because you won't accept the fact that you're wrong, that's why you're getting this recompense. And so Job is disgusted with them. You can imagine him. I wonder how he sat there sometime and how they sat there listening to each other. Because if that was us today, it would have been somebody been reaching for something, or it would have been some type of, I quit, I'm going home, I ain't talking to you. I hope we all learning how to deal with a conversation. Some conversations are contentious. People arguing strong arguments, but you have to be someone who's a strong communicator. That's what it is. That's why you can't know curse words. You got to increase your vocabulary. Come shoot.
It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be leafy. He shall shake off his unripe grapes.
You know, a tree
as the
without
vine.
leaves is a dying tree. That's what we say. You're going to have your trees are not going to be leafy. In other words, understand the metaphor. We are agricultural people. We can relate to that more than anyone. Even though we may not be on a farm, you understand this language. It's ancestral empowerment.
And shall cast off his flower as the olive, for the company of the godless shall be desolate.
And that's you, Job.
And fire shall consume the tents of the bridery. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity.
He's calling Job, he's saying, Job, you probably bribed people, man. That's why, because you ain't saying it, but it's something there that you did, and they're giving him hints. Maybe you did this, maybe you did that. And Job didn't do nothing. We all know that Satan is testing him. Let's go on.
And their belly prepareth deceit.
That's right, don't you? So now Job done heard all of that. You can see, Job don't take long to answer. He's ready right there. So here he comes.
Chapter 16. Then Job answered and said,
Now let's see how he's going to speak. They spoke some wise things in there, but they also jabbed him with a couple of jabs in the side. And let's see how Job responds.
I have heard many such things. Sorry comforters are yours.
Some type of friends you are, brothers. Some type of words for helping me, you speaking. That's how he starts out. He's saying, I don't even want to hear your number. You might as well just sit. You're like an empty wind that blows by, comes in the east and goes out the west. You didn't say nothing. You didn't even leave nothing with me. No advice, no help.
Shall windy words have an end? Or what provoketh thee that thou answerest?
You know, you think about the wind. Try to grab it. You know, that's what I'm saying. Job feels that they haven't told him anything. Why you have all these words and there's nothing that's going to help me in it? You're not making me feel better. You guys making me feel worse. Some comforters are you.
I also could speak as you do.
Right? If I wasn't in all this trouble, and like you guys, you don't have nothing on you, so you can condemn me.
If your soul were in my soul's stead,
Yes.
I could join words
Yeah,
together.
if you were in
against
my
you.
shoes, he said, but if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't do what y'all are doing to me.
And shake my head at you.
Yeah, I'll shake my head at you all and point my finger. He said, you're doing all that to me, but I wouldn't do that to you if I was in your position, if I came to you to comfort you.
I will strengthen you with my mouth, and the movement of my lips will assuage your grief.
Yes, he said, I would cause your grief to be moved over. He said, I wouldn't be saying things to try to hurt you and what have you. He said, I would add some comfort and calm to your feelings, to your pain, to your distress. I would try to pacify your anger and your passion with my words. You all are not doing that.
Though I speak, my pain is not assuaged. And though I forbear, what am I
He
eased?
said, even when I talk, I feel bad, remembering all the stuff that's happened to me.
But now he had made me weary. Thou hast made desolate all my company, and thou hast shriveled me up.
Yes, he said, thou hast made me weary. Weary. You've loaded on me and made a burden every time you open your mouth. My load gets heavier. You all are the devil speaking to me right now.
Which is a witness against me.
And that's God. He even sent you all here to beat me up more. I told you God is against me. You guys is the devil here doing everything, adding to my sorrow, and God sent you here to do what you're doing to me also.
And my leanness rises up against me. It testifieth to my face.
Yeah, that's why you're talking about how I look, my skin's rolling up and all of that stuff.
He hath torn me in his wrath, and hated me. He hath gnashed upon me with his teeth. Mine adversary sharpeneth his eyes upon me.
And you know what's to be considered? There are probably people that feel just that way. If they're not on this program, we know they're on the planet. And that's the difference between knowing Yah and not knowing him. That's why all of you are Israel, Yisrael. These words, this knowledge is the thing that gives you that strength, that understanding, that wisdom. Because sometimes to get over things in life, you have to remove your emotions and try to replace it with understanding of the situation and of Yah. Emotions don't answer problems. It's the understanding, it's the reason, and then taking the right steps, actions to get that favor once again. Tamshir.
They have gaped upon me with their mouth. They have smitten me upon the cheek scornfully. They gather themselves together against me. Yah delivereth me to the ungodly.
Here it is. Hear what he said? Yah has delivered me to the ungodly. And you are the ungodly guys I'm talking about. Eliphaz is you. Bildad is you. So far is you. You're the devil that God sent against me, and everybody's against me.
And casteth me into the hands of the wicked.
Then you guys are the wicked ones. See, I done had all this trouble. Now he done put you here to vex me even more.
I was at ease, and he broke me
I
asunder.
was doing good. My life was wonderful. And he broke me down.
Yea, he had taken me by the neck and dashed me to pieces.
Took me by my neck and just swung me around. And you could see his descriptive words saying that he done broke me up all over.
He hath also set me up for his mark.
He said, I'm the target for the Most High. And y'all can see he done hit me. Where are your marks at?
His archers compass me round about. He cleaveth my reins asunder and doth not spare.
You hear what he said?
He peereth out my gall upon the ground. He breaketh me with breach upon breach. He runneth upon me like a giant.
Now, that can't be more descriptive. You know, a giant running on you. He's like 2,000 pounds and he walking on, that's crushing you up. That's what Job is describing what's happening. He says, he's breaking me up, and then after he break me again.
I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin.
He said, my whole body's mourning. Because when you had sackcloth on, it was a way of mourning. He said, I'm mourning all over. I don't need, my skin mourns.
And I've laid my horn in the dust.
He said, my mouth is in the dust. I'm laid down on the ground. I'm so low you can't go any lower. The only place left for me to go is in the ground, in the grave.
My face is reddened with weeping, and on my eyelids is the shadow of death, although there's no violence in my hands.
I haven't done anything to anyone, and my prayer is pure and clean, and he won't even answer me.
Oh, covereth not thou my blood.
Don't let me stop bleeding. Whatever he did to me, just let it keep bleeding. Don't even stop the blood. I don't want no type of wounds covered up. Let him see all my blood, and maybe that'll get his attention to stop hurting me.
Let my cry have no rest in peace.
And let me just cry all day long and let him hear it. Maybe then he'll come and tell me what I did or testify against me, be a witness.
Even now, Behold, my witness is in heaven,
It's in the Most High, and he ain't telling me nothing. You guys are not him. You're the devil.
and he that testified of me is on high, and he that testified of me is on high.
He said, my conversation is not with man. He said, what happened to me, that's between me. I'm talking about what's happening to me. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm saying to the Most High, you're just hearing what I'm saying. But my words are not to you all, it's to the Most High. That's what he's saying. He's saying, did I do anything to you? He said, my trouble is my trouble. It's on me.
Mine inward thoughts are my intercessors. Mine eye poured out tears unto Yah, that he will set aright a man contended with Yah.
At least, don't you see my suffering? Answer me. Tell me why.
As the Son of Man setteth aright his neighbor. For the years that are few are coming on, and I shall go away whence I shall not
He
return.
said, I'm going to die soon. Tell me something before I get there. And you know, this is a thought that everybody should think about. Many people, when they have trouble, they die before their time. That's what you should not do. If you have trouble or you're sick in the hospital, you're not dead yet. No matter how bad you may think your situation is, you are not dead. If you're complaining, you're alive. Dead people can't complain. So that in itself is a blessing. It's like the person that have pain. There's a part of it that's not good. You're in pain. Good part of it's good. That's why people say, pinch yourself. Oh, I'm alive. Hallelujah. That pain letting you know you're still here. And that's where your hope is. Once you're here, there's a chance situations can change and you don't know what the future holds, nor do you control time. That's what your mind should be telling you. Hey, things can get better. Yah's merciful. And that's why you don't give up hope. Don't you?
My spirit is consumed. My days are extinct. The grave is ready for me.
That's how he's speaking. But I want you to think about something. All that we've gone through as a people, we make the world laugh. We make the world laugh because even though we've had all this trouble and still have it, we're still happy. We still have a reason to laugh and smile. We're not walking around as a people with our head down. We're partying. In fact, probably in a few hours from now when the Shabbat is over, even though it's social distancing, we don't care nothing about so. I remember when social distance started, in the hallways in Harlem, they was having parties all up and down in the building. They couldn't go outside. They just came out their apartment and partied in the hallway. I'm telling you, trouble don't do us like it do some people. We're not a suicidal nation. That's why we're still here. We've gone through the worst type of treatment that any people can go through, being slaves for thousands of years. And we still are strong, resilient, and have hope. We don't.
Surely they are mockers with me, and mine eye abideth in their provocation.
Yes, he's calling them the mockers, but we have it in our DNA. We just have to resurrect that DNA that's in us. There's certain things that are in us. We just got to rewire our minds and get back to the place where we were as a holy and a righteous people.
Give now a pledge. Be surety for me with thyself. Who else is there that will strike hands with me?
He's saying, in other words, if you all got someone's going, just take that noose that's on my neck that the Most High put and put it on yours and let me go home happy to your house. So let's switch places. Since this is so easy, you're denouncing me.
For thou hast hid their heart from understanding. Therefore shalt thou not exalt them. He that denounceth his friends for the sake of flattering.
Yes, he said.
Even the eyes of his children shall fail.
He said, when you do what you're doing, your children even gonna fail. What are you doing denouncing me? You're publicly accusing me and condemning me strongly as evil. He said, that ain't right. You guys came here supposedly as my friends to comfort me. And here it is, you're denouncing me. You're accusing me right here in front of everybody. And that young brother, Elihu, is sitting there, because I want y'all to remember, Elihu is right there listening to everything. All these older men are speaking, and that young youth is sitting there hearing everything. He hasn't opened up his mouth. You don't even know if you reading it like this, you forgot he's there he's been there from the beginning to the end. He's been hearing everything and he's following the protocol. He's too young to speak. Maybe that's a lesson to young people. It was a lesson to me. Sometimes all of us who are elders, we know two adults, elders speaking, you walk up and say, "Mommy," pop in that mouth. That's right, you got popped in your mouth. Don't ever interrupt us when we're speaking. That's how they taught us. The next time you waited, sometimes you be waiting there for minutes, man, and they just keep talking. You got to stand there with your mouth shut. Don't say a word. Tell them, "Yes, son, what you want to say?" That's how it went. We got to get that back again, and that's what's going on here. We have to understand that young boy, Elihu, is sitting right there, hearing everything they're saying. He's learning, because that's what you do. If you will learn to sit and listen to elders, you'll learn a lot of wisdom from them. That's how I got it.
He hath made me also a byword of the people, and I am become one in whose face they spit.
He said, they spit in my face, everybody.
Mine eye also is dimmed by reason of vexation, and all my members are as a shadow. Upright men are astonished at this, and the innocent stirred up himself against the godless. Yet the righteous hold on his way, and he that had clean hands waxeth stronger and stronger.
That's wisdom, and it's true. That's who prospers, unlike what was being said earlier when the brother Eliphaz was saying, no, when you do evil, it's dark, trouble keep coming. When you're righteous, you're also going to get stronger and stronger.
But as for you all, do ye return and come now.
That's what he's saying. This is to let you know they probably went away. And here you got to know the inference. They came back. This is another day continuing the conversation. Come see.
And I shall not find a wise man among you.
Not one of you is wise. You keep coming back to me. And I think since it seemed like after yesterday, you would have got wiser today. But say, no, not one of you. Eliphaz, you ain't got no wisdom. Bildad, you stupid. And let me tell you so far, you should keep your mouth, you the young, keep your mouth shut, period. You ain't got nothing to say.
My days are past. My purposes are broken off. Even the thoughts of my heart. They change the night into day. The light is short because of darkness.
He said, everything's the same with me. He said, when I wake up, trouble is there. I go to sleep, I still got my troubles. He said, ain't nothing changing in my life.
If I look for the netherworld as my house, if I spread my couch in the darkness, if I said to corruption, thou art my father, to the worm, thou art my mother and my sister.
Listen to that. In other words, he's saying, to be a worm, he said, I'm saying to the worm, that's in the ground. He's talking about death, the netherworld. He's saying that if I made that my house, and he said, and spread my couch in darkness, if I did all of that, he said, and thou art my mother to my sister, where then is my hope? He says, like everybody I talk to, they're all about death. And I don't have nobody, even you guys, you ain't bringing me no comfort. My family, I haven't seen my relatives in weeks, months. Since this happened, you know that's true in life. When everything's going good and you got money, stuff, all your friends always are there visiting you every day. Soon as you broke, you be looking for visitors, ain't nobody even remembered you. They going to somebody else's house now. You got a new pool table. Everybody coming over to play pool. So-and-so got a new pool table. And you go over there and play pool. Your table broke. Ain't nobody coming to talk to you now. You ain't got no pool table. We came over to play pool, brother. Learn that in life. Learn how to understand people. Some of us are that person we talking about. Let's get wisdom out of this story. So it's a lot we can learn from all sides. I told you, life is a total perspective. You don't want to be narrow-minded.
Where then is my hope? And as for my hope, who shall see it? They shall go down to the bars of the netherworld, when we are at rest together in the dust.
He said, my sister, my mother, he said, that's when everybody's going to be together in the netherworld. They don't have nothing to offer me while I'm here on this earth. We'll all be able to be at peace and ease when we're all gone, is what he's saying. But as for right now, he said, I got too much trouble on me. Yes, I think we're going to have, an intermission here, or do we have our next character? What chapter we're in now? 18? Let's take 18.
Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said,
How long shall you lay snares for words? Consider, and afterwards we will speak. Wherefore are we counted as beasts and reputed dull in your sight? You that tear yourself in your anger, shall the earth be forsaken for you?
In other words, should everybody just hold still because you got some problems, Job? Should we, in other words, all the rocks not move, everything just stay in its place because you got a little bit of trouble?
Or shall the rock be removed out of its place? Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out,
And Job, that's why your light came out.
and the spark of his fire shall not shine.
That's why you have this problem in a sly, cunning way. He's jugging at Job.
The light shall be dark in his tent.
And that's what your experience is. All your family, you're all alone. He took everybody from you. You must have did a serious evil to have something like this happen to you, brother.
And his lamp over him shall be put out. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon the toils.
That's when your trouble is because you caused it and now you have to deal with it. He said, a jinn.
A gin shall take him by the heel.
In other words, what's a jinn? It's a trap that's used to catch game. He said, you've been caught, brother. Your foot been put in the trap because you're evil.
And a snare shall lay hold on him.
And he's giving him about the him is Job.
A noose is hid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way.
He said, sooner or later, the wicked get caught. You've been caught, Job. You need to come clean and confess and repent before God. Can't you see the rope is around your neck? Your foot is in the trap with all this trouble.
Terrors shall overwhelm him on every side.
And that's why you had all these things. Remember, the fire, the army that invaded, killed your 7 sons. Then your daughters got caught, then your servants. He said, add all of that up. It's your experience.
And shall entrap him at his feet. His trouble shall be ravenous, and his calamity shall be ready.
Ravenous is like eating a person that's a greedy eater. You've been greedily eating up trouble and wickedness, and that's why trouble's come to you. You've sown a lot of evil and iniquity, and now you've been trapped, and here it is like a raven is somebody that's hungry and greedy eating. That's why you have all these troubles come on you like a ravenous bird.
It shall devour the members of his body. Yea, the firstborn of death shall devour his members.
That's what's killing you. It's your sin. Repent, Job. Confess.
That wherein he trusted shall be plucked out of his
Imagine
tent.
you didn't do a thing as Job has not. Yah is testing him. In our lives, we can be tested. We are tested. You don't know when it is. There are a lot of things tested. Right now, COVID-19 is a test. In many ways, I'll just give you one way it's a test. Do you have the discipline to stay home because death is outside like on Passover night? You know, there's people, they going outside. They don't care, discipline to put on a mask. They don't care about that. That's what it's all about in life. You got to follow instructions about the law, the Torah. And if you don't, there's going to be consequences. That's what this is all about. They're not saying it, but the book is the wisdom of the Hebrews. It's the same God, the same power. Look at that. Moses gave Moses the power. David gave him the power of prayer. Saul was chasing him, his enemies, everybody turned on, but he prayed and Yah was with him. David, a shepherd boy, brought a giant, Goliath, to his knees. The same power. He ain't changed now. The same one that helped them helps you and me. He delivers us. That's what the story's all about. Giving the Most High all the glory, which is what all of us should be doing every day of our lives, even when we're in trouble. He gets the glory. You can't just be a good person when things are, I know people like that. You see them things going good, they just cheerful and happy as they can be. You say shalom. Oh, how you doing, brother, before you even get there? Now they got a little trouble, had an argument with his Isha and something like that. How you doing? Shalom, Aki. Shalom. He can't hardly open up his mouth because he got a little problem. His Isha had to get out. Whatever it is, because I don't even know how she could put you out, but if you ain't man enough to know you're a man, it's part of your trouble too. But I'm just giving you an example for us. There's a little humor in it, but the point is this. That sometimes when you have trouble, you got to still have a countenance. You don't go outside showing all the work. Because some people, they want sympathy, so they come outside, let the whole world know I'm sad, and so that people can start feeling sorry for you. That is not going to make your trouble go away. Flattering you and say, oh, brother, this, that, and the other, you looking good, this, that, and the other, because people will lie to you too. They know you look bad, and they say, you look good. But you can't let people control how you are. You got to do that from the inside. You got to be the one who controls when you feel bad, when you feel good. Some people, they even allow people to push their button. Say something and make you sad. You can say anything you want. You ain't gonna get me sad. Yeah, we had a saying I grew up with. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me. That's what you have. It's to understand it's true. As long as nobody ain't hitting you with nothing, they can say anything about it. People are going to talk about you all the time. You can't do anything about it. But don't let it bother you. You can at least defend yourself with words. Come see.
That wherein he trusted shall be plucked out of his tent, and he shall be brought to the king of terrors.
That's right. That's your hope. He's the king of terrors. He put more terror on you than the terrorists.
There shall dwell in his tent that which is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation.
He's going to have fire and hail coming down on his house.
His roots shall dry up beneath, and above shall his branch wither.
Clear metaphor. Come see.
His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name abroad.
Nobody's going to talk about you when you have that wicked background.
He shall be driven from light into darkness.
That's what happened to wicked people.
And chased out of the world.
In other words, death is going to follow you and run you to your grave.
He shall have neither son nor son's son among his people.
No grandchildren, no great-grandchildren. Your children and your lineage and your family line will be cut off. That's what can happen to wicked people. Your seed can be removed out the earth. There are Israelites, families that don't no longer live among the house of Yehudah. Just go and check all the names of Judah and you see that some families, Nadab and Abihu ain't here among Levi. You could go all the tribes. Your family could be cut off. That's what you should be thinking about when you're a wicked person. Is it going to affect my generations? Come see.
Nor any remaining in his dwellings.
And that can't be made clearer than that.
They that come after shall be astonished at his day.
This is what the lesson is about too. Learning what not to do, what you should do. Learning what not to say and learning what to say. Learning how to say it and learning not how to say it. That's a part of life. I hope you get into wisdom. Come see.
As they that went before are affrighted. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked. This is the place of him that knoweth not Yah.
And you're that guy. Everything that I said, I hope you will consider. It was wisdom in it, but he kept joking at Job, telling he's unrighteous. He did something, and only you and I, who are the learners, this is a story to teach us, we know he didn't do anything. You probably know somebody got trouble. I hope you're not being a judge and condemning someone you don't know what's going on in their life. Don't even do it to yourself. Self-condemnation. You don't know why these things have happened in your life. It also gives you an opportunity to get closer to Yah. I truly believe that trouble brings people closer to the Most High. You would never pray like you pray when something bad is in your life. When your child might be dying and you asking Yah to save him like David did. Shalomo in the Bathsheba situation. Didn't eat no food, couldn't eat no food. All of us have had troubles like that. And I'm telling you, that's when you need to really think and understand the lessons that we're getting from this story. We all have been there, will be there, or are there in that situation right now. I hope and pray this therapy, mind therapy, is just helping you to think about things. That helps you to get out of your misery. It starts with how you think. Because the way you feel and why you feel that way is because what you're thinking, how the trouble's weighing on you in your mind. Can you find a happy place? That happy place is in Yah. Can you find a comforter? That comforter is Yah. That's what the lesson is all about. Never give up hope. Come shoot.
Chapter 19.
We're going to stop there. Let's listen to Mishpacha drummers, some young drummers that we have. Again, they're sons and grandsons of Cohane Levi. Again, we have Cohane Sheikh, Otanu, Shemaiah, Irania, Mekubadi, and Akun. All young men. I love them all. They're wonderful drummers. They've been doing this from the time they came out the womb. Babies, they're grown men with families. Let's listen to them. They have a message. Ein Elohim. There's no power like the Creator.
Elohe kimo Yahovah melech hagadol leolam oseh rak devarim neflim yomecho Yisrael amen. Ein Elohe kimo Yahovah melech hagadol leolam oseh rak devarim Yomecho Yisrael, amen.
Hallelujah. Everything that we're doing in our program is to the praise of the Most High. As we continue in chapter 19, we just read and can recall that Job was told by Bildad the Shuhite that your situation and what happened to you, Job, is what happens to the dwelling of the wicked and them that know not the Most High. Job answers and says, stop the vexation. He's telling them, as we'll see in chapter 19, you all have no shame in your harsh words towards me. He also says, your words have crushed me, Eliphaz, Bildad, so far, and you don't even care about it. And for us that's listening, the question is, can we pour salt in a person's wound when they're hurting sometimes by not speaking in a consoling manner? That's what we have to think about. Some of us are hard on people when they need compassion. And you know when you're that person, you want compassion. Just think about it. It says in the 19th chapter, we begin with, again, the words that will come from Job's answer. Stop the vexation. You'll see that's what he's saying.
Then Job answered and said,
How long will he vex my soul and crush me with words? These 10 times have he reproached me. You're not ashamed that he deal harshly with me.
Now you can see what 10 times that's telling you. Again, they've been meeting a little bit.
And be it indeed that I've erred, mine error remaineth with myself.
He said, my wrong is with me, not with you all.
If indeed you will magnify yourselves against me, and plead against me my reproach,
No,
that Yah hath subverted my cause,
he said, that's what I'm saying. This came from the Most High. He did it to me.
and hath compassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out, violence, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no justice.
And he said, I plead against, he said, my pleads about my reproach. You guys just don't understand. I have to answer you some kind of way. I didn't do anything.
He hath fenced up my way that I cannot
He
pass,
said, he hedged me in.
and hath set darkness in my paths.
And I'm not speaking about you all. The Most High did this to me. My complaint is to him.
He had stripped me of my glory, and taken a crown from my head. He had broken me down on every side, and I am gone.
He said, took away all my respect.
And my hope hath he plucked up like a tree.
Pulled me right out of my foundation, my security. Just pull me up like you pull a tree out the ground.
He hath also kindled his wrath against me,
And I'm the target for his wrath.
and he counted me unto him as one of his
He
adversaries.
made me an enemy, and I love the Most High. He said, I've been living my life always considering him, and look what's happened to me.
His troops come on together, and cast up their way against me,
Yeah, and your guys are in the truth.
and encamp round about my tent,
Yeah, that's you guys.
and hath put my brethren far from me.
He took you, my brothers, my friends, put you all against me. You've been 10 times all these days, you've been vexing me and coming here and making my situation work, crushing me with your words.
And mine acquaintance are wholly estranged from me.
He said, people that I know, he said, they don't even come around anymore.
My kinfolk have failed,
I ain't seen none of my relatives since I had all this trouble. But when I had all that riches, all them thousands of cattle and everything, they was here every day.
my familiar friends have forgotten me.
Yeah, people that were my friends when the things were going well, I don't see them now.
They that dwell in my house and my maids count me for a
He
stranger.
said, man, the people that work for me count me. He said, even when I call my servants, they won't even answer me. I call him, I said, Avedia, come here. He said, Avedia don't even answer. Not only don't come, he don't even answer me. Everybody's disrespecting me.
I am become an alien in their sight. I call unto my servant, and he giveth me no answer, though I entreat him with my mouth.
I call him loud. He ain't even answer. He's right in the next room.
My breath is abhorred of my
He
wife.
said, my wife don't even want to smell my breath. She don't even come around me. Everybody's put me and made me an alien. I'm a hermit in the corner by myself.
And I am loathsome to the children of my tribe.
He said, I look so bad, nobody don't want to look at me. They turn their head, walk by. He said, look at these, even the urchins, the young guys who steal, the criminals don't even respect me, brother.
Even urchins despise me. If I arise, they speak against me.
He said, that's right. He said, the guys who are thieves, they don't even give me no respect.
All my intimate friends abhor me.
You guys, you're the closest guys. I'm talking about you.
And they whom I loved are turned against me. My bone cleaveth to my skin and to my flesh, and I escape with the skin of my teeth. Have pity upon me. Have pity upon me, O ye my friends. For the hand of Yah hath touched me.
And you know, a lot of you out there, you feel like that. And that's why we hope this program is helping your mind. Because sometimes you feel like you're all alone. You're not all alone. The Most High is with you. There are people that you don't even know that care about you and pray for you. Because that's what we have. We have people that pray for people. You're not alone. Even when you think you're alone, Yah's there with you. He has angels that's watching over you and making sure that nothing else happens. He's keeping you alive, even with all the trouble. Because sooner or later, through this test, either you're going to pray harder than you ever prayed before because you are deeply hurt, so you will get closer to Yah that way. Maybe you're going to pray more frequent or have been praying more frequent than you ever have. That's going to, because I know a lot of people, they get trouble, they stop going to the temple. That's the worst thing you could do. Now you're going to stop praying. Here's another thing about the pandemic. I bet you there are people out there that because they don't go to the temple, they've gone further away from the Most High. I hope you're not doing that. That's not good. See, in other words, you mean God is only in you when you go to the building or to the place of worship? That's why he took you away from there. Because you need to make a relationship with him that's your spirit to his spirit, not a building. You should be praying more now that you're not in the building than you were praying before, because you don't have the building. Has your prayers decreased or increased? Has your mind on Yah decreased or increased since we haven't been able to go to these houses of worship? Or are you just waiting for the next program like this to come on? And then you say your prayer and talk to Yah. You're doing it through other people. When are we going to have that one-on-one? Because that's how it really is. Every toe sits on its own bottom when it comes to Yah. Every child has to be given that strength, development, being taught to have that relationship. That's a lifetime relationship with the Most High. No building doesn't separate it. No material things doesn't separate you from him, because it's your spirit. Your spirit has to be raised up to another level. Trouble is how he does it, whether we understand it or not. It says,
Why do ye persecute me as Yah, and are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book, that with an iron pen and lead, they were graven in the rock forever.
In other words, I want my cause, everybody to know it. Don't let it ever be erased, because what he did to me, all humanity should know that it's not right.
But as for me, I know that my Redeemer liveth.
Now, that's a powerful, you hear people say that, my Redeemer liveth. Now you know where they got it from. It's Job's words. It should be all our words. What does it mean, my Redeemer? My Restorer liveth. The one who's going to restore us back to our homeland, the one who restored us back to our language, Hebrew, even though we've been speaking Spanish and French and everybody else's language, the one that's restoring us back to the Torah, restoring us back to the culture, restoring us back to our history, Yah, our Redeemer, liveth. That's why we say Yah, Kai Yah.
And that he will witness at the last upon the dust. And when after my skin, this is destroyed.
The flesh.
Then without my flesh shall I see Yah.
And my spirit going back to him is what he's saying.
Whom I, even I, shall see for myself.
Meaning that in the spirit, we're going to know something different than we can't ever know in the flesh. And you don't know if you're going to see God. That's how he feels about it.
And mine eyes shall behold, and not another's. My reins are consumed within me. If he say, how will we persecute him? Seeing that the root of the matter is found in me. Be he afraid of the sword, For wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that he may know that there is a judgment.
There's a judgment not only for Job, but for his friends and for you and I. We all get judged by the Holy One of Israel. We go on in the next chapter, and we all know that, again, the argument goes on, and here comes the next speaker, and that's Zophar. And again, we know Eliphaz is the elder or the chief. Bildad, here comes Zophar. He comes in, and of course, Zophar is going to answer Job. He's the Naamite, the Naamatite, and we know that he's going to say, they seem to speak in turn, and we see it, without interruption. Politeness is all in this conversation. At least Moses wrote it that way. And they follow the protocol. And now, that so far comes in, what's he going to say? The triumphing of the wicked is short. That's going to be one of the powerful phrases of his speech. The triumphing, the victory of the wicked is short. See, that's something we all got to agree. You might be doing good if you're evil, but it ain't gonna last very long. That's why you got to pull out and say, well, this is true what he's saying. This is true what Job is saying. This is true what Eliphaz has said, and get all the truths and put it together. It's just like you don't ever have one teacher. Have many of them. Get a little wisdom here, a little wisdom there, a little bit there, because that's how life is. You're never going to get it from one person. Because if you lose your mother, your father, and that's where it came from, then you're done. Life is not like that. You get wisdom almost, if you're looking for this all over the world. You could just go outside and look around, and you see all the evil, and you get wisdom just watching what people do and say. Some shit.
Then answered Zophar the Naamatite and said,
Therefore do my thoughts give answer to me, even by reason of mine agitation that is in me. I have heard the reproof which putteth me to shame, but out of my understanding, my spirit answereth me.
He said, Job, even though you keep insulting us and you insult me, I heard your insults. He said, but still, I have a spirit within me that's saying, I have to answer Job.
Knowest thou not this of old time, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless but for a moment?
Meaning that if you're wicked, you ain't gonna be happy consistently on no long-term basis. Your happiness gonna be broken because trouble gonna come and shake you up.
Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach onto the clouds.
That's right, because some of us, we think we great in our minds. Our heads are so big that they reach up to the heavens.
Yet he shall perish forever, like his own dung.
Just like you flush your dung down the toilet, he said that's how your life and your prosperity and your happiness and your joy, it's going to be just like your dung. It's waste, it's useless, and it got to be thrown out.
They that have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found.
You're going to die before you know it.
Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night.
Because the wicked and the triumphing of the wicked is short.
The eye which saw him shall see him no more.
In a very quick and swift manner.
Neither shall his place any more behold him.
You know, sometimes we don't know it. You just hear about a crash of automobiles and people died, an airplane crashed and people died. But if you knew what they were doing a year and every month before that that led up to that accident, which is what Yah always knows. That's why that day, as Solomon said in Ecclesiastes, there's a time to be born, there's the time to die. There's a day set for every one of us listening that the Most High is going to say, this is the day you're leaving here. And that's what people should think about. You should have that fear, not every day thinking about you're going to die one of these days, but you should remember it could happen at any time. In your joy, in your laughter. There are people, I remember, I've heard it, I've seen it in the news. People that got married the same day and the wife died and the husband now before she didn't even meet the same day he lost his bride. How do you cheer him up? Her up that lost her husband. Just trying to show you. But if you saw what he might have been doing in his life, let me give you an example. Suppose he was cheating on his wife all the time they were dating, he got another wife and children, and then that happens to him. You didn't know he'd had all that baggage in his life, but see, Yah knows all our dirty baggage and our dirty laundry. And you better try to clean it up or not have that hamper run over with dirty laundry, with your sins. Try to make them, cut them down, clean them up. It's what I'm learning, what I understand from this beautiful, beautiful word of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of life that is service to humanity. Every people that read this, that's why all nations read it, and all people, ethnicities, because this is something where all of us can say we have it in common. No matter who you are, everybody have trouble in common, whether it's Russia, China, India, Guyana, Trinidad, Jamaica. You can go there and ask them if you don't believe me. Just say, does anybody in this country have any trouble? And watch how many thousands of people will be in front of you.
His children shall appease the poor, and his hands shall restore his wealth. His bones are full of his youth, but it shall lie down with him in the dust.
In other words, the triumphant of the wicked is short.
Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and will not let it go, but keep it still within his mouth.
Job, that's what you're doing. He's talking about Job, in case you don't know it. You got all your wickedness, you're keeping it in your mouth. You're talking sweet talk, but you ain't telling us about that evil that you did.
Yet his food in his bowels is turned. It is
The bitterness,
gall of asp
that's right.
within him.
He said, like a snake is in your stomach because you're wicked. The poison of the snake is in your belly.
He had swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again.
In other words, you stolen stuff from people and robbed the innocent, and now you're vomiting all that out, and God is casting it out of your belly right now with all the stuff that's in your life.
Yah shall cast it out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asp.
And this goes for all of us. That's the wisdom in it. He's talking to everybody listening. Happen to you too if you're wicked. Me, anybody, doesn't discriminate.
The viper's tongue shall slay him.
In other words, a snake's tongue, you know how that kill you. You take that tongue, stick it, it come out fast. You ever see a snake, boom, he done popped you. And next thing you know, that blood is going right up to your heart, that poison, and that's how he goes. It moves up swift. That's what he's saying. Metaphorically, that's what he's saying.
He shall not look upon the rivers, the flowing streams of honey and pearl.
Beauty is out of his life.
That which he labored for shall he give back.
Everything you did wrong and evil that you stole, you're going to give it up if you're wicked. Your triumph for the wicked is short.
And shall not swallow it down.
You're not going to keep that stuff that you got by your evil doings.
According to the substance that he had gotten, he shall not rejoice.
I truly believe if you're looking at this was written more for people than for Job, Eliphaz, Bildad, or so far. This has been written by Moses for wisdom for you and I, and everybody that will seek wisdom.
For he had oppressed and forsaken the poor. He had violently taken away a house, and he shall not build it up. Because he knew no quietness within him. In his greed, he suffered not to escape. There was nothing left that he devoured not.
That's the wicked person, Tamshi. Therefore,
his prosperity shall not endure.
Listen to that. That's why his prosperity is not endured. That's why someone gets stopped short of reaching their goal, success. You've been doing everything. You thought you were about to get there, pot to go, and here it is. Most High shifts trouble in your life because he always knew, and he just kept piling up your iniquity, giving you a chance after chance to change. And because you wouldn't, now the hammer comes down on you.
In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in the straight.
Now you're going to have your way narrowed. Straight, that's another spelling if you look at it. You're going to have a narrow life because the hand of the Most High now has come upon you. And you, again, in your fullness, having everything sufficient, like Job was, he was. And of course, we know his situation different. This is a lesson for you and I, that he had everything. We might have everything, but it can change.
The hand of everyone that is in misery shall come upon him.
All the other people, you know, they say misery loves company. Now you start your misery, everybody else starts telling you, and that just makes you feel worse because everybody's telling, instead of getting uplifting words, everybody's coming and telling their troubles. It's like Job feels like, I'm just getting the worst of everything in life.
It shall be for the filling of his belly. He shall cast the fierceness of his wrath upon him, and shall cause it to rain upon him in his flesh.
In other words, the Most High is going to do all that to you. He's calling the rain of wrath to come upon you and the fierceness of wrath. That's what he's saying. And it's true.
If he flee from the iron weapon, the bow of brass shall strike
If the
him
wicked
through.
get out of one calamity, another one catch you on the other side. So it's saying to wicked people, the lesson is, don't do that. Stop it. It's going to get into your life one day. You're going to have to pay. Stop it now.
He draweth it forth, and it cometh out of his body.
Everybody's not listening to this program. That's why you have to open up your mind. You might have trouble, but there's another person who's the sinner that's listening. I hope he's saying, man, I'm so glad this came out because I know I've been doing wrong. And I've been worried all the time. I'm going to start praying now and try to get on the right side of the Most High. It's a lot of lessons in here, not just for people that have trouble, for people that are wicked. You better be listening to all his wisdom. And if you're righteous, don't change, because when you change, y'all gonna change too, his ways towards you. Got to be steadfast righteousness, and you got to be conscious, aware. You can't do right and you ain't paying attention. See, focus. You got to be focused to be righteous. Wicked people are focused. You don't go rob the bank and you be listening to your radio. No, you looking around and checking for the police. So if the wicked watches his way to rob the bank and do evil, he don't go to that man's house knowing his husband. He knows he leaves at 7:30 in the morning. I'm gonna get there at 9:30 to commit my adulterous act. And that's what I'm saying to you. Yah knows you. That's what he's telling you in this lesson. I see you and I will get you sooner or later. It's gonna catch up. So that's it. See, sisters and brothers, we all gotta realize something. Yah is watching everybody. And everybody better get it together, because you got a personal relationship with Job where you're gonna have to give account to the Most High sooner or later for what you're doing. So you better be vigilant and aware every day. In fact, I think the pandemic has slowed down sin. It's a blessing in disguise. Because a lot of people, if they could go out, they would have already been in so much evil, but they can't go out every day. Saved you an evil day. And I'll tell you something that happened. There were a lot of people in gangs. While it was a pandemic and the lockdown, they couldn't kill anybody. Soon as they said go out, all over the United States, murders and killing of young people have shot up to the sky. I wish they put all them youth, them guns and gangs, lock them up in their houses, and maybe we'll get some peace in the streets, killing innocent people. And you think they're innocent. Are the innocent in the sight of Yah? Is he wrong because that person shot an innocent? You don't know. You don't know why that person got shot. Do you know that Abel was born to die? He didn't stay here long. That's why his name Abel means transition. That means he came in to go out. He ain't the only one. There are people that's their purpose. They come here to be killed. God does everything. He said, I made everything for my own purpose, even the wicked for the day of evil. We got roles. You better pray for a good role, a righteous role. That's what it's about. Pray to him. Give me a righteous portion, and he knows your heart. He knows whether you're lying, and you can't just ask for it. See, when you want to get a blessing, you have to earn it. You got to earn long life. You have to earn good health. It ain't just like being given out and thrown out to any and everybody. No, you reap what you sow. I give every man according to their doings, says the Most High in Jeremiah and other places. It says,
Yea, the glittering point cometh out of his God. Terrors are upon him. All darkness is laid up for his treasures. A fire not blown by man shall consume him.
If it's not blown by man, who do you think is blowing that fire, that consumption of a person's life.
It shall go ill with him that is left in his tent.
It's going to go bad with you if you're a wicked person. You're evil. I don't care who you are. That's what the lesson is. Don't take it personal from Cohane. I'm teaching. And that's what I'm teaching you, what is on the page. Anybody that's wicked, they're going to sooner or later face the terrors of Yah.
The heavens shall reveal his iniquity.
Heaven is going to see you and does. The angel's going to report what you're doing. Yah sees you all the time. It shall not go well in your house if you're a wicked person. You're troubling your own household.
And the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart.
The earth rise up. That's why we have earthquakes on the planet. Because the earth is rebelling. It doesn't like, creation doesn't like when you become an adversary to the creator. That's when his creations, that's why everything, the sharks attack you. The lion tries to kill you in the street because creation, everything comes against you once you're against the Most High. His armies, he's Yehovah Zevaot. He's the creator of hosts. His host defends him. The earth, come shoot, and the heavens.
The increase of his house shall depart. His goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath.
That's what happens to the wicked. The triumph of the wicked is short.
This is the portion of a wicked man from Yah, and the heritage appointed unto him by Yah.
I think we'll only get this chapter in. We're going to try 21, but I want you to know, Job in chapter 26, he's not going to answer them with 1 or 2 chapters. He's going to take 6 chapters to tell all 3 of them off. Because as I said, he's fed up with all this vexation of his spirit. And that's all a part of the story. It's going to be wisdom in his words and in this, always is. Let's take the last chapter if we can get it into that.
Then Job answered and said,
Hear diligently my speech, and let this be your consolations. Suffer me that I may speak, and after that I have spoken, mock on.
You hear what he said? You got that? He said, after I finish, you can say, now you can mock on. Mock me more and talk about me and just try and destroy me and discomfort me as much as you want, but just let me say this.
As for me, is my complaint a man? Or why should I not be impatient? Turn unto me and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth.
See how he's saying? Why should I not be impatient? Question. Patience of Job. Ask yourself. Eliyahu, I know he's patient because that young man hasn't said a word. And to sit there and keep coming back for days and don't say a word, now that's some real patience.
Even when I remember, I am affrighted, and horror taketh hold on my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked live? Become old, yea, wax mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes.
See what Job is saying? And a lot of people, they do that when they have trouble. Seem like only good people get trouble in their lives. I know a whole lot of bad people. Look how they doing. They doing good. But look at me. I go to the temple. I keep Shabbat. I eat kosher. Or other people say other ways of life. I do good. I help a lot of people. I'm charitable. I'm nice. And look at what happened to me. All over the world, people feel like this. And Job is represented in Moses' writing the mind of human beings.
Their houses are safe without fear. Neither is the rod of Yah upon them.
A lot of people feel like that. There are other Psalms that read just like Job's words.
They bull gender it and feed it not. They cow calf it and cast it not to a calf.
In other words, they don't lose no calves. When they have births, the births are safe all the time. Their flocks and the little ones. The wicked just seem to prosper. They don't have trouble. That's not true.
They send forth their little ones like a flock.
If they live, you live long enough, you'll see that they don't get away. The Most High knows it because he's eternal. But people, you don't see it because you're not like the Most High. It's not your job to live to see what happens to wicked people. Your job is to clean up your own wickedness.
And their children dance. They sing to the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the pipe.
Seems like their children, he's saying the wicked, they have a joyful life.
They spend their days in prosperity, and peacefully they go down to the grave.
That's not true. There are a lot of those wicked people are in jail. A lot of them are dead in the grave. If they could come back and tell you, they say, I died because of my wickedness. I'm in jail because I did evil. Most people in jail say, I'm in here and I didn't do anything. That's why they end up going back. Because a lot of people don't acknowledge when they're wrong. And I hope we get that lesson. Come see.
Yet they said unto Yah, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? What profit shall we have if we pray unto him?
You get a lot of profit. You better believe it. If you don't pray, you're going to have some trouble. And then when you do pray, he might not hear you because you don't pray.
Lo, their prosperity is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me.
In other words, he's saying, you can't counsel me. You guys are wicked.
How oft is it that the lamp of the wicked is put out, that their calamity cometh upon them?
He said, you guys are doing great. And look at you, you're a bunch of evil guys here saying all these nasty things to me, cruel and harsh things, and you're doing good. And look at me. I didn't do anything, and here I am suffering. That's how Job feels. And he's insulting them back, just like they insulted him.
That he distributed pains in his anger, that they are a stubble before the wind, and a shaft that the storm stealeth away. Yah laid up his iniquity for his children. Let him recompense it up unto himself, that he may know it. Let his own eyes see his destruction, and let him drink of the wrath of the Almighty.
You know, think about that. We're the children of Israel. If the world would look at us and they say, well, these are Yah's people and look what he did to them. And we all know it's because we sinned. He says, you only have I known of all the families on the earth. Therefore, I shall visit your iniquities upon you. Amos 3:1. Now, when we know that we're his people, we can't say this. He's fair. We're his chosen ones, and look what he did to Israel. So it's not that the wicked get away. No, Israel, a perfect example. The whole Bible is written on everything that would happen to us. Deuteronomy 28, all the curses that would come upon us because of not following instructions, walking away from the righteous path of the Torah. Here it is. Some wisdom right there.
For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, seeing the number of his months is determined? Shall any teach Yah knowledge?
Nobody. That's a good thing to think about. You can't keep your mouth shut. You can't teach the Most High anything.
Seeing it is he that judgeth those that are high.
Yeah, he judges everybody.
One dieth in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet. His pears are full of milk, and the marrow of his bones is moistened.
You know, he's a strong person, died too.
And another dieth in bitterness of soul,
In other words, sad and unhappy, like that other person that died.
and hath never tasted of the good.
Never even had any good in their life. There's people that's like that. That's their portion. It was bad all the way through. And that's why sometimes hearing other people trouble, it make you feel better. It's not that you're laughing at them, but it lets you know, hey, my trouble ain't as bad as I thought it was.
They lie down alike in the dust, and the worm covereth them.
Everybody.
Behold, I know your thoughts, and the devices which you wrongfully imagine against me. For I say, where is the house of the prince? And where is the tent wherein the wicked dwelt?
And the prince and the wicked, Job, you're the prince, and your house is the wicked. That's what he's saying. Have ye
Not ask them that go by the way? Or will he misdeem their tokens? That the evil man is reserved to the day of calamity? That they are led forth to the day of wrath?
In other words, that's what happened to the righteous people, the good man, or shouldn't that be the portion of the evil? Is Yah really just in how he's dealing with people, that the just and the unjust get the same judgment in the end?
But who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him that he had done, what he had done? For he is born to the grave, and what is kept over his tomb?
Born to the grave, you're born to die, is what Job is saying. What's the good in that? The clods
Of the valley
are
are
sweet.
sweet unto him, and all men draw after him, as they were innumerable before him. How then comfort he me in vain? And as for your answers, they remain it only
He
faithlessness.
said, man, you guys are some poor comforters. You don't have nothing good to say, and you can't help me in any kind of a way. And so, I don't know if we can get it in, but we're going to try that 22. Let's go there for it.
Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and
And
said,
now you know he's the leader, chief man. He said, no, Okay, you done stepped on my young brother here. Now you got to hear from me, Job.
Can a man be profitable unto Yah? Or can he that is wise be profitable unto himself? Is it any advantage to the Almighty that thou art righteous?
That's a good thing to think about. In other words, you add to the Most High's righteous because you're righteous. Think about it. You know the answer just as well as I do. Some shit.
Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways blameless?
Is it helping the Most High that you clean it up and I am cleaning up our lives and trying to stay away from sin? Are we really making the Most High adding to his eternity, adding to his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, adding to his righteousness? Something to think about. See, when you ask questions, it's a provocative way to get the person to think. That's why all these questions, they want you to think, and that's what I want you to do. Don't you?
Is it for thy fear of him that he reproveth thee?
Think about that. Is he just trying to reprove you so you can fear him? In other words, he's just doing that because you don't fear, you do fear? Or is it because righteousness and unrighteousness have something to do with it? Think about it.
That he entereth with thee into judgment?
Is that why he's entering judgment to you, with you? And is this a mutual judgment, or is he judging you, or you're just discussing the judgment?
Is not thy wickedness great?
And are all men sinners?
And are not thine iniquities without end?
And do men ever stop? See, I used to think that when I was a child. I used to think that I'll be glad when I get 21 because that grown-ups don't sin. It's only the children that do the sin. Boy, did I learn something when I grew up. Man, them elders and them men and women that are husbands and wives, they just like the children. That's why the Most High called us all the children of Israel. You don't escape at no age from being tested or saying that you're righteous, meaning that you now married and therefore you can't sin. It don't work like that. So Yeladim, I want you to know, your mother and your father, just like me, all of us are sinners. And so you're no different. We got to work on it just like you do.
Thou hast taken pledges of thy brother for naught, and stripped the naked of their clothing. Thou hast not given water to the weary to drink, and thou hast withholden bread from the hungry.
Anybody that did that, you're a sinner. That's what he's saying. Job, you're probably guilty of all these things. You haven't helped the needy. Go ahead on.
And as a mighty man who hath the earth, and as a man of rank who dwelleth in it, thou hast sent widows away empty. And the arms of the fatherless
yeah,
hast
he's accusing
broken.
Job. He said, you guilty of something. Which one of these did you do?
Therefore snares are round about thee, and sudden dread affrighted thee.
This is what I'm saying. So everybody should be getting out of this. When you're in your troubles, you should start thinking, trying to figure out, well, what did you do? And start saying a prayer. If I did this, y'all forgive me. Maybe I did this, and I know I did this. Salak li na tika piero te. Repent. You know when you're in trouble, that's a message to say, start examining your life. Don't you?
Or darkness that thou canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not Yah in the height of heaven? And behold, the topmost of the stars, how high they are.
He's above them all. Don't you?
And thou sayest, what doth Yah know?
How can you speak against a power so high and so mighty as the Most High?
Can he judge through the dark cloud?
And he's saying, I know all these things. Job is speaking, I know all of this. And they are saying the same thing in many instances. Job knows that, they know that. It's for us to get the lesson.
Thick clouds are a covering to him, that he seeth not.
Moshe is teaching us about Yah. This is about his greatness, his glory, his praise, his honor. Ein Elohei kimo Yeho. There's none like unto him. He's great beyond the imagination of the children of men.
And he walketh in the circuit of heaven.
That's right, and we nowhere near it. He looks down and man looks like grasshoppers.
Wilt thou keep the old way which wicked men have trodden?
Haven't you learned something? We all should learn. And look at Job is saying, he's teaching us.
Who were snatched away from their time, whose foundation was
No, who
poured
was
out
snatched
of the
away
grand
what?
stream?
Who was snatched away before their time. They died early. People can die before their time because your sin can take you out.
Who said unto Yah, depart from us. And what could the Almighty do unto them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me.
In other words, Most High is merciful.
The righteous saw it and were glad, and the innocent laughed them to scorn. Surely their abundance is cut off, and their abundance the fire hath consumed.
In other words, that's what happens to all your riches get consumed if you're wicked. Acquaint not thyself with him.
Acquaint now thyself with him,
Learn and know the Most High and be at peace.
and be at peace. Thereby shall thine increase be
You
good.
only get peace with love. And that's what they had to get. They don't have all that love that they're having between these friends. You can see how it is. It's tarnished by how they're speaking to one another, and especially how Job's friends are speaking to him. And Yah, I'll tell you in advance, he's going to reprimand them for doing what they did. They spoke wisdom, but the accusations, the adversarial, the accuser, because see, Satan is the accuser. That's why these men are playing that role in this story that we're reading. They're the accusers of Job. They're playing the role of the devil to make him feel even worse, hoping that he'll be out. Satan has a reason for this. I want Job to curse God. He ain't do it yet. And all these three men are provoking him to try to get him to do it, but he's never doing that. Don't you ever do it, it says.
Receive, I pray, the instruction from his mouth, and lay up his words in thy heart.
That's a lesson. Learn that Torah and do it and live by it.
If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up.
Everybody should get that lesson. It's wisdom from Job.
If thou put away unrighteousness far from thy tents, and lay thy treasure in the dust, and the gold of Ophir among the stones of the brook, and the Almighty be thy treasure.
The Ophir, gold of Ophir, some of the most fine gold in the world, the most purest gold. All Israel spoke about it in the Tanakh, the gold of Ophir. He said he's going to make Israel rare like the gold of Ophir, meaning it's not going to be a lot of us going to make it. Because to be righteous, you can see it takes a lot of work, and most people are not willing to put the work in.
And precious silver unto thee, then surely shalt thou have thy delight in the Almighty.
That's how you get happiness and joy in your life.
And shalt lift up thy face unto Yah.
And he'll bring you up out of your lowest state. He's teaching us, Tumshi.
Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he will hear thee, and thou shalt pay thy vows. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee.
Listen to that one. If you're righteous, you can decree and pray and ask, and Yah will establish it. You can get that favor. Everyone should seek the favor of Yah.
And light shall shine upon thy ways, and when they cast thee down, thou shalt say, there is lifting up for the humble person he saveth. He delivereth him that is innocent, yea, thou shalt be delivered through the cleanness of thy hands.
That's the way it is. I just want to have you listen to Isaiah 40, chapter 40, Isaiah 40, and verses 12 through 20. It's going to end our program. It connects everything that we're saying and this particular second series of talks on Job.
Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out the heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who hath meted out the spirit of Jehovah? Or who has his counselor that he might instruct him? With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him? And taught him in the path of right, and taught him knowledge, and made him to know the way of discernment. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, the owls are as a mote in weight. Lebanon is not sufficient fuel, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for burnt offerings. All the nations are nothing before him. They are accounted by him as things of naught and vanity. To whom then will ye liken Yah?
That's what this story is all about. No one could be likened unto him. Tumshi.
Or what likeness will ye compare unto him? The image purchased, which
Perchance,
which the craftsmen have melted, and the gold soon spread over with gold. The silversmith casts in silver change. A home oak is set apart and choosing a tree that will not rot.
We are just consistent with the thought that you can't make an idol and think that it's the Most High.
He seeketh unto him a cunning craftsman
Someone that can make him a nice statue to pray to, bow down and burn incense to.
to set up an image that shall not be moved.
The Most High in the Bible, throughout the Old Testament, not the Bible, throughout the Torah, throughout the prophets, and throughout the Holy Scriptures, idolatry is condemned. And that's what we've done here. So we want to thank you once again and pray that this has helped humanity, in particular, the nation of Israel, who've been stripped about knowledge of themselves for countless generations, and who likewise have not known that this book, the Holy Scriptures, the Hebrew writings, is the place and the source of their return and restoration, redemption, is right in the book we call the Old Testament. May y'all bless you. We're going to listen to our drummers, and I think we're out now. We're going to hear the Yivareka. So again, our drummers, do we have to hear the last drumming portion? Someone give me a signal. If not, we're going to go on and play our tape. I want to hear our Mishpaka drummers, and then we'll go into the Yivareka for Vakasha. Mishpaka drummers, Kwadosh, I think we're going to hear.
Wadosha, Wadosha, Wadosha,
share with the saints. Hope you've enjoyed the drumming as well as our program. May the Most High bless and be with you all. Yivareka Yehovah, Yishmareka. Yair Yehovah Panayo, Aleka Wikuneka. Yisa Yehovah Panayo, Aleka, Wayasim, Laka Shalom. May Yehovah bless thee and keep thee. May Yehovah cause his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May Yehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. So shall the Cohane place my name upon the children of Israel, and Yehovah will bless them. Hallelujah. What about guys?
And they should put my name upon the children of Israel, and I bless them. Sing among Israel, so Namidia Mishira to among Israel, so Namidia Mishira.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.